If you think prison is scary, what would you think about an underworld prison, complete with a torture chamber? This was the most frightening thing, found hidden at a warehouse in Wouwse Plantage, Noord-Brabant in June of 2020. And it shocked the world to its core. But what was all of this for? Who were these people? And who did they want to torture? Stick around to find out everything we know and who the brains behind this evil operation were. It was global news. On the 22nd of June, news broke all across the world about a warehouse in Wouwse Plantage. 6 men were detained on suspicion of planning kidnappings, hostage-takings and torture in the criminal underworld. The officers found a second location suspected to be a criminal base in another warehouse in Rotterdam. So how did they find it? The arrests and discovery were greatly aided in part by evidence collected from encrypted messages. These were accessed by hacking encrypted phone provider encrochat. The week before, the police revealed that the hack had given them access to millions of texts sent between criminals. The horrific findings. The police reported what they found, and it made the world uneasy. The Noord-Brabant Underworld Prison was made up of 7 sea containers. The police said that 6 of those were equipped to act like jail cells, with handcuffs that would only allow a prisoner to stand crouched over a chemical toilet. And the 7th was made to be a torture chamber. The hacked messages revealed pictures of a container with a dental chair inside, with straps on the armrests and footrests. We can only imagine the kind of torture these criminals would commit. The texts mentioned of abduction and torture. The suspects referred to the facility as an EBI, which is a Dutch acronym for high security prison with a treatment room. The prime suspects. It didn't take long for authorities to come up with a list of suspects. They had a good idea of who could be behind this brutal operation. The primary suspect, a 40-year-old man from The Hague, was thought to be responsible for a lot of drug trafficking. He was linked to text messages that were leaked about abduction, torture, and the Noord-Brabant underworld prison that was just discovered. The police had been watching the storage facility in Noord-Brabant since mid-April and had seen so many men working on the sea containers nearly every single day. According to the police, one of those men, a 44-year-old man from Noordeinde, even met up with the prime suspect from The Hague and a known accomplice, a 43-year-old man from Rotterdam. Police were easily able to identify these suspects thanks to the encrochat messages, along with some good observation. They finally took action. When the prison appeared to be nearly done, investigators decided to step in. They noticed that the containers had sound-insulating plates and thermal heat insulation foils. There were handcuffs that were fastened to the ceiling and floor of every cell, and a camera was hung in the corner to keep an eye on the cells from a distance. But it gets worse. The police discovered even more disturbing torture devices. These included finger clamps, claw hammers, an assortment of pliers, pruning shears, gas burners, tie wraps, duct tape, scalpel blades, and a wire cutter. All of these were contained in 2 large bags. What's more is that there was also a freezer in the warehouse that was large enough to hold more than one person, a mortar tub for waterboarding victims, and black drawstring bags to be pulled over their heads. The police also found sets of police clothing, bulletproof vests, and flashlights in one container. They also discovered 3 stolen vans and 2 fast BMWs, along with a sleeping area put out of place in an adjacent room. This was thought to be for the prison guards. The chats also mentioned a second warehouse in Rotterdam, right next to the A16 motorway. There, they found 7 firearms, an automatic assault rifle, which was a Chinese variant of the Kalashnikov AK-47. Many such suspects were spotted at both warehouses. 11 other sites were also raided by the police. They discovered 24 kilograms of MDMA in a Rotterdam home, and the suspects were found with a total of 25 weapons. The police were able to figure out from the texts who the intended victims of the kidnappings and torture were. Without wasting any time, these people were alerted and told to flee into hiding. The authorities noticed confusion among the suspects from that point forward. One of the suspects wrote to another in an intercepted text, "Where are those dogs? We can't find them anymore." So who were these targets? Justice speculates that the containers were to be used to confine a 37-year-old Dutch Iranian called Ali D. People in the underworld refer to him as the Underworld Banker. This guy has got a lot of money and a high status. He arranges, works, and knows all the criminals. This underworld banker, Ali D, previously worked for the Rotterdam coke smuggler, Roger P., also known as Piet Costa. Piet Costa, who got his nickname from his frequent trips to Costa Rica, is a well-known figure in the Dutch cocaine trade, but he managed to stay mostly out of the spotlight until his arrest in 2020. According to the court, his way of life clearly shows that he is strongly involved in crime. He traveled from the Netherlands to South America, drove high-end cars, stayed in luxury flats and had a lot of money, but no income. There were bottles of alcohol worth thousands of euros in the house where he was staying. Where did all that money come from? Ali D, who is referred to as A1 in the intercepted messages, appears to have stolen approximately 100 million euros from Piet Costa. Piet Costa wrote on the 10th of April, "A1 has robbed me heavily in Dubai with his Iranian friends." Piet Costa's name appears when the police open up a number of encrypted PGP services and hijack criminals' communications. In the spring of 2020, while starting to read along with the criminal message traffic, the authorities made an entirely different, unsettling discovery. Pictures of sea containers and installation material are sent to Piet Costa. The sender had written that the place was isolated 3 times. You don't hear anything, even if you're standing right next to it. According to the legal system, Piet Costa had sent photos to somebody else, asking them if they wanted to see their 10-man prison. He also instructed them to keep the warehouse clean and to keep everything separated. The prisoners can scream all they want without anyone hearing. The upcoming abductions appeared to have been carefully planned. There were multiple teams and an observation team, as well as weapons, police uniforms, vans, stop signs and bulletproof vests. Things start to escalate. The criminal world's personalities disclosed that the dispute had totally escalated. According to an official report, Ali was held captive by people from the Piet Costa environment. This might have been done to persuade him to pay up. Ibrahim Ibo, at just 25 years of age, was killed in Rotterdam on May the 10th. He was Piet Costa's business partner. Piet, who spends most of his time in Spain, drove back to the Netherlands after the murder. He kept in touch with Robin van O, the owner of a gym in Utrecht. Piet wrote an encrypted but coherent message. "I'm not normally into this department, but there are now a few people who I hope I can torture." Robin van O would have worked as a contractor on the construction of the Underworld Prison. Intercepted chats via encryption provider encrochat revealed Piet Costa and Robin van O discussing that the complex with the torture chamber is almost ready, according to the Public Prosecution Service. Don't go anywhere. The mystery remains. If you've been enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep up with more crime stories. Moving on. Another prospective victim revealed. Besides Ali D, more information was discovered, suggesting that another criminal should have been jailed in Wouwse Plantage, 57-year-old Ahmet G. The aim was to process Ahmet G from Amstelveen in one of the torture containers discovered in Brabant. On March the 16th, 2019, he and his daughter were shot near their home on the Grote Weilen in Amstelveen. Luckily, they managed to escape the attempted assassination because the gunman's weapon failed. Ahmet G is regarded as a key figure in the Dutch cocaine trade by both the criminal and judicial communities. Even though 3 people were caught during the 4 raids, the originally Turkish Ahmet seems to have escaped, and an international warrant was issued against him. Prison time for the suspects. The Amsterdam court convicted 10 of the 11 accused in the case of the alleged torture containers in Wouwse Plantage. They earned prison sentences ranging from 1 to 9 years. One suspect's involvement was not sufficiently established, and he was acquitted. The judge considers Piet Costa to be the primary suspect, as well as the instigator and undisputed leader of the criminal organization. The intercepted messages show that the entire operation was motivated by his desire to exact revenge on criminal opponents. His desire to torture them was made clear. An unconditional prison sentence of 12 years would be appropriate for his role. However, because he was just sentenced to 15 years in prison in another case, he is said to have imported thousands of kilos of coke and was preparing to import a 25,000 kilo cargo. Message traffic suggests that he sought to bring this massive shipment from South America to Europe in one go, according to the Public Prosecution Service. In its most recent ruling, the court was required to rethink the Rotterdam conviction and sentence in the torture container case. In total, Costa could face a maximum sentence of 17 years and 9 months in both cases. In the end, the maximum additional time possible in the torture container case, 33 months in prison, was sentenced. As for Piet's right-hand man, Robin van O, he became terminally ill, and nature decided his fate as he passed away later in June. That's all for this video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Underworld videos. Thanks for watching and stay safe.